Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Richard Leroy Trickle, or Dick Trickle, am I right? Oh. As you may have probably guessed, I'm talking about Dick Trickle today. Who's Dick Trickle, you might be asking? Well, he was a NASCAR driver, and he had around 2,200 races on record, with 1,200 wins. Big deal, right? Well, the average is 500 to 700 career races, but Trickle had a lot more. Over the years, he's had many ups, many downs, but I think Trickle should be on the wall because he's a pretty cool guy. So even though it's a little bit early off, one of the highlights of his career is that he won 67 races in the year of 1972. Though it may seem easy being Dick Trickle, his early life was actually a little bit tough. When Trickle was 8, he was playing tag with his brother, and he fell down 2 stories and broke his hip. When he went to the hospital, they actually found out that there was nothing that they could do. They just sent him home, and they thought that he'd be crippled for the rest of his life, but he actually recovered, and at the age of 13, he could begin work. He found himself at a blacksmithing shop and actually began to make money and an income. And while he was recovering, he actually saw his first NASCAR race, and this really brought an inspiration to want to do racing. So at the age of 16, after saving up a lot of money from that job, he went out and bought his first car. He grabbed all of his money and grabbed a 1950 Ford for $100, which back then was a lot of money. Trickle wanted to get immediately racing, so he tore up that car and turned it into a drag racing car, which he eventually lost to another dude named... Actually, he's not there, so never mind. But this was the jumping platform into Trickle's career. When he started off, he did 100 events per year for 15 years, which is a lot if you think about it. Though, his career slowed down after a little bit because his motor was actually way inferior to other cars. So Trickle had been losing out on the other competition. The turning point of his career, though, is when Dick Trickle got the recognition he deserved was in 1966, when Trickle went to race at Rockford Speedway for National Short Track, where he won and got the biggest payday he got so far. $1,645, which, a lot back then, you know. The following year, in 1967, Trickle had a record of 25 feature races. After this, Dick Trickle just continued snowballing to be the big member of the racing community that he is nowadays. Though it was looking good for Trickle, a new policy came in. The sanctioning bodies put in a new weight per cubic inch rule. This had put Trickle behind the other racers because everything just turned so expensive. Affording parts just too expensive because he liked driving Fords, but all the parts for them were just out of budget. In 1974 and 1975, he tried putting all his money together and fought his way out and got new parts for his car to get him back in the race. He had a working vehicle for the following race. A core memory for Trickle, his best memory, was winning the World Crown 300. Dick Trickle said it was the biggest payday of his life. That's so Trickle. Dick Trickle had been doing so well that companies began putting bounties on his head. Lacrosse put a $700 bounty on him to see who could beat him. He lost to Steve Burgess. Dick Trickle, though, went on to have many successes throughout his whole career. Famously, Dick Trickle drilled a cigarette hole into his safety helmet. That's so Trickle. Dick Trickle's legacy was very big. At Lacrosse Speedway, they made a Dick Trickle 99, a 99-lap race held annually. That was his number on his car. And a pavilion at the Wisconsin National Raceway named the Dick Trickle Pavilion. And the main character in the 1990 NASCAR feature film Days of Thunder, played by Tom Cruise, is actually Cole Trickle as a homage to Dick Trickle. But unfortunately, all legends come to an end. On May 16, 2013, the police station got a call saying someone's about to shoot themselves. This, sadly, was Dick Trickle calling 911 about himself. And when they got up to the crime scene, he had apparently shot himself in his truck. Though later he was buried with his granddaughter, who died in 2001 from a car accident in the same cemetery. But Dick Trickle's legacy still lives on to this very day. He was a very charismatic and very kind fellow, and I think he's had a big impact on the whole racing community and even America. He was known for being the most dominant short track racers in history. Dick Trickle's death in 2013 shocked the whole racing world, and people really began to focus on the athletes mental health. It spurred conversations about mental health awareness, which has begun snowballing, and we can see it affecting every organization nowadays. Even after his retirement, he still lives on in museums and stands as a symbol for racing history. Though his name might be funny, I think that wall needs it on it. Thank you.
Love me, say that you love me, free me, go on and free me, I'll do anything but you, anything but you. Reason will not be to solution, I'm just simply lost in confusion, but I like to simply anyway. Ha ha ha. Thank you very much. We have Dick Trickle right now.